Welcome to Backstage with Pete Van Dyke. We are coming to you in the Backstage podcast booth deep in the bowels of Spiky Ball Studios. I'm your host, Pete Van Dyke, and today I'm very happy to have our guest, super fan of Live from the Dutch Hall, longtime friend of myself, and a man who I think we're going to get a little insight on the job market today to get those people who are maybe disenfranchised or disenchanted, not very happy with their job, maybe they're not getting the most out of it. I want to give you the expertise of a guy that's been around the block a few times. We invited him in today. We're happy to have him. My good friend, Manny Feijo, is here.
Thanks, Pete. Thank you very much.
What you can't hear, Manny, is like, even on this show, it's not Live from the Dutch Hall. There's not the hoopla of Live from the Dutch Hall, but you can still hear the people clapping at home.
No Paul Hall bartender going, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, mostly like this. that was like an hour of Paul. I haven't had him in the booth yet because I think you want to make him sit outside, just for the breathing.
Keep him far away from all those noises his body makes.
Yeah. He's the only guy I know that snores when he's awake, I can't even believe that guy. But anyways, Manny, we've done this. We had Brandon McIntosh here on the Backstage program last time. He talked about 1 million jobs that he had, and he seemed to like almost every single one of them. There wasn't many that he had a problem with. And you also a very positive guy. All the years I've known you, you're very positive, happy, look for the best things in life. Would you agree with that?
Oh, for sure. There's always only one way to see things in life is just be positive, have a happy attitude, and things will definitely go a lot better.
Yeah. So what I like to do is take people who aren't broken. I would consider myself to be very broken, maybe jaded a bit, not really the average person. So I'm not very helpful to everyone else. I bring you in. You seem well adjusted, happy, pleasant, reasonable in all regards. Every time I've met you, you've had just normal things to say, Manny.
Yeah.
But then, and so you've done some really impressive things also. Do you remember your first job?
My first job was I had a paper route. I used to do papers. I delivered the penny saver.
Oh, yeah?
Have you ever heard of that?
Do you know how old you would have been around that time?
I think probably around 10, 11.
Oh, so like a grade school kid, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And was your parents insistent on it, or did you have the drive to do it yourself?
No, you know what? I wanted to do something. I thought I could make a few bucks to maybe make some money, go to the corner store, get myself a bag of chips, some pop. I wanted to do all that stuff on my own at that age, and yeah, just decided to deliver the penny saver.
Yeah. And your parents are a tough nut to crack for a few quarters to go get.
Yeah, and then there'd be the days where you didn't want to go out and do it, and your dad's there, freaking get your ass out there, go do it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, and then your first job where you went, had to go to work, say high school or something like that. Did you work in fast food ever?
No, I never did fast food. I was always ever in the retail environment, which was just a drag the whole time I was in it. It was definitely not something I'd recommend anybody to get into. There's points where you think, you enjoy it, but then you realize in the end, people just want to just crap on you all day in that kind of business. So
really?
Yeah.
What, you're just, are you in a mall?
No, there was different places I worked, and I worked at retail, just as a grocery clerk my whole life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, oh, sorry. So you got a job at a grocery store when you were how old?
13 years old. I started. I started when I was 13. I was stocking shelves at a brand food center.
Oh, really?
Brantford, yes.
And then did the entities that you started with get gobbled up by other ones?
Yeah, definitely. They, that one there stayed around. I think it's still around to this day down Gray Street, Brantford. Oh, yeah. And that place, legendary. They have the best food there. Definitely a great place to work at the time. And, I had the days where I enjoyed it and stuff too. So yeah, there's always stuff that you kind of take from those kind of experiences for sure.
Yeah. You remember Callbacks?
Callbacks, yes.
And they had Callbacks in Waterford too, and they were and they had one down by the Massey plant too, right?
Yeah.
Is that still a grocery store? Or is that
no, it's just maybe just a little convenience store now.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of cut in half to what it used to be.
It's crazy, right?
Oh yeah.
That's so much change. It doesn't seem like that long ago, but it's a long time now.
Oh, big time, yeah. Over 30 years ago for sure.
So you were really able to you started in the grocery game. I know a lot of guys that have done this too, actually, that started in the grocery business, and then once you're in there, they got pretty good benefits and they have pretty nice. They treat you pretty good, right?
Oh, for sure. There's unionized shops, most of them, and they get your wage increases at some points, but towards the end they would seem kind of greedy. They wanted to make more money than what they want to give away, and they make you work harder than what they expect to pay you. But those kind of things are happening everywhere.
And that's what I keep saying. Like the formula that's there for anything that's a publicly traded company is that every quarter they have to answer their shareholders and they have to make more money, right? And so the only way to do that is at the expense of
labor costs.
Either your employees or your customers. You're going to give your customer a cheaper product, or you're going to make your employee do more for less,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they milk the employees more for less every year. And that's when I was working in the banking world. It was the same thing, like you would achieve like 200% of the targets they gave you. And the next year you would have your goal, that same 200% of the original target plus the growth they want from you. And you're like, well, no, I would have just lent 100 then, of my goal, so that I know I only have to have an 8% increase. Now I had 108% increase in my target, and like I'm being punished for my success,
Yeah,
because they're so greedy.
Like the harder you work and the more money you make for the company you're working for, and the less money that's going in your own pocket.
Yeah, the percentage of money that you make the company goes up as you go there, and the percentage that you're taking home is going down, like
it doesn't seem right. It didn't seem fair. But yeah, you work hard, you pay your dues kind of, and
do you think
what happens?
I really hope for a day where the whole corporate structure doesn't make sense anymore, like where there's like a total market collapse, and then everybody who's like making millions on their like stock holdings or whatever, they just like are all worth nothing, and it goes back to the day where it's just like big markets where people bring their food to and people go to buy it. And I
think it's still like that in certain countries of the world. They still go out and do that kind of thing. Here, it's more leaning towards not going anywhere. Your food's just going to come straight to your house.
Yeah, all those grocery stores are just going to become distribution centers.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
People walking around there with carts to deliver all that stuff.
Yeah, there'll be drones dropping in your backyard and stuff like that. Yeah.
Robot walking it to your house.
Yeah. Really? I mean, we're not that far away from that. It's kind of crazy stuff.
Right around the corner.
Yeah, because they already haven't like those. Everything's just in delivery and then online stuff. I mean, there's no bricks and mortar stuff anymore.
Yeah, like every year it just gets more and more for me too. I'll look at Uber Eats to get an order placed to bring it to my house.
Yeah.
Groceries now, you look online for everything. You order it. You just go to you don't even have to walk in the grocery store. You just drive to the outside of it, pick up your groceries. You're gone, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
it's a different world altogether.
Oh, yeah.
And then you look at it now, and I never really thought of it just now, but you look at it, it's like all the people who are kind of like normal, busy, regular-minded people are going online, getting their stuff, getting it delivered or whatever because they're too busy to go shopping. The only ones that are still going to the place to buy stuff are the crazies, right?
Yeah.
And those crazies are there to cause problems. So now if you're a person that still has to have a job, you're working with the general public.
Yeah.
The only part of the general public that doesn't have the sense to just order it online are showing up to make your life miserable, right? And it's like it's a different sort of workplace that you're into from where it was 25 years ago, right?
Yeah, for sure it is. Yeah, it's changed so much. Yeah, definitely. People are like not personable anymore. They just, because they're ordering online, they don't have to talk to anybody now.
Yeah.
When they do have to talk to the person, it's just, they lose their mind.
Yeah, they figure, it's all about them, man.
Yeah, big time. So it's like, yeah, definitely. Things are just going, that way for sure.
Yeah, it seems like empathy is not a big strength in the general public anymore,
No.
Like they don't think of it from someone else's point of view. Like, this guy's just trying to do his job,
Yeah, it's... What do you mean you're out of the craft dinner that's on sale?
Yeah,
like, holy fuck, take it easy,
man.
pal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to put up with that shit anymore.
Yeah, I'm coming to work. I'm trying to do my job here, I remember, I had arguments a lot when I was banking. People would like always be grinding you for interest rates, and eventually I just got sick of it.
You better come down to 1% or else I'm leaving to go to another bank.
And then I'd be like, please go. You're a pain in my ass, Like, if this is what I have to do to do business with you, I don't want to do it anymore. And I got to an age, and this is kind of bringing me up to your experience, is that like I had a long stretch with my company, like I think it was 15 years. You were even longer, 25 or something.
Yeah, I was 27 years with the last company.
27 years. Like that is a long run to be with a company. Like that's when you should be able to retire with that company.
I
Like
agree.
a quarter of a century with anyone.
Did it all there. Yeah. You
Yeah.
know what? It's like,
yeah, you've achieved. That's an accomplishment. So congratulations for that.
oh, thank you.
And then you get. So then now you're in a totally different world, and you're like still a fairly young person. You know, you're a young man still. And you're like, you can do anything. The world is open to you completely, right?
Yeah, yeah. You got anything for me? I have no clue what I want to do. I feel like I'm just coming out of high school again, looking to go to college. What do I take in college? What do I do? What do I do?
That's my kids. They're like so forced into knowing what they're gonna do, and I'm like, you're gonna do something for a little while, and then you're gonna do something else.
Oh, I understand that pressure that's on them too. It's like I didn't realize it before because I've always just been working, but now that I'm like kind of looking for something, it's like I could do anything, but what is it what's that one thing that I'm gonna want to do?
Yeah. It's and there is probably not, like I think everyone's different, of course, but in my mind, there's never one thing. It's like always going to be a bunch of things that kind of combine to make me interested enough, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's just so much to do. Why wouldn't you do it all?
What was the banking situation though? You ended up being you had guys yelling at you every day, like
no, bankers can't yell at you. Like customers, you mean?
Yeah, the customers would just lose their shit.
Oh no,
interest rates.
They would be angry about their situation a lot. Like a lot of times, your customer would come in, they're mad they can't make their payment, you know. And some of them would say, you know, I'm in a tough situation. Can you help me out? And those are reasonable people. And other people would come in and try to somehow make it your fault. And especially because one of the places I worked was affiliated with the federal government, so they did not want to, you know, they wanted to just blame us because they would call us government, you know. And
you guys were just the lenders. The government's a totally.
Yeah, they were just our shareholder, you know. The government was. So like we were making lending decisions that were supposed to be, and they were pretty reasonable. I worked at the major banks and I worked for the government one, and the government one was the only one that kind of showed reason as far as like, this isn't that guy's fault that he's in that bad situation. It's the market or it's the weather or whatever happens in agriculture. You know, most of the time I was in agriculture, you know, and you know, those guys are good years and bad years. You have to understand that. Otherwise,
for sure.
So the banks don't. They want to have every quarter more money, you know.
What's this winter saying for the farmers? They're not going to have a good year because maybe there wasn't enough snow, not enough precipitation in this winter?
I don't know. I'm the wrong guy to ask in that.
Oh, okay.
And it's still only early in the winter, so
lot just
can
with
happen.
Your background in the old tobacco industry, you might know that.
No, I know the tobacco guys are facing their own problems because of the Chinese cell phone deal, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the bad part that we have here. And usually, like...
Huawei.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's bullshit because regular people get hurt by a bunch of international pissing matches, eh?
Yeah, and they take this lady prisoner. How does that have anything to do with the tobacco farmers, kind of, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like because they say, well, if you don't let our stuff go, then we're not going to buy your stuff and blah, blah, blah. And it hurts the people. The people over there that were consuming our product were happy to have it. You know, the people who were selling it to them over here were happy to sell it, you know?
Yeah, there was something to do with the canola or some kind of like oil that was being like imported to China, got cut off, and the sale of it in Canada affected so many like jobs and everything. It's crazy how, you know, just something so simple. Yeah,
so they start using this as currency and flexing their muscle to shut these things off, and it affects regular people who are, by all intents and purposes, like I look at the poor people in Iran. They're protesting there because in one day their gas price tripled.
Fuck.
You know, can you imagine if all of a sudden you're just trying to go to work and you're gonna fill your tank up and it's like it's now $3 a liter? You know, it's like that makes a big difference to people just trying to go to work every day and feed their families.
Yeah,
you know,
imagine that freaking triple in one day.
And most of the people, no matter where you live in the world, are just regular people trying to get enough to feed themselves and keep their family alive and stuff like that. You know, it all boils down to the same thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then their governments don't get along with our government, so now all of a sudden my gas is 3 times as high. No wonder, like I would protest too, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's we're pretty insulated from that shit around here, in Canada. But in the rest of the world, I mean, it's eventually going to happen here. It just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, as far as even just this kind of the way things are going, with the economy, stuff like that. Hopefully, people see better, better lives maybe in the future. I hope. Like, you don't want to see the homelessness like you do kind of when you go down south and stuff like that. You
Yeah,
go to, like,
it's
these,
getting
like,
worse, right?
yeah, like it's hard to believe.
Yeah, and that's a thing. You're starting to notice these like glaring signs that the things people have been saying are gonna happen are already happening.
Yeah.
And no one pays attention to anything long enough to really know, like to notice. And if you're
Maybe
looking
we're
out your
just-
window, it's fine because it looks like a nice lawn, sun shining. There's
Yeah.
nothing going on, but you don't have to go too far to look before you see that things are pretty fucked up out there.
Oh yeah, and I appreciate those kind of things that I have. I look out, like you said, I look outside and I see, I have a roof over my head. I appreciate that. And there's some people that don't even have that, kind of comfort just to be inside somewhere. It's pretty bad, and that's what just kind of makes me think too. I don't need to be too picky about what I do. I'll pretty much do anything, I shovel shit, I'll do whatever it is just to kind of survive. It's a tough world, but
if it's a nice environment where you feel like you're doing something good and you're like happy,
yeah,
and it doesn't matter what you're getting paid or that's worth a lot.
Yeah.
I would give up money. I would tell my old bosses who were like baby boomers. I'd be like, I don't give a fuck about a raise. Like, I don't give a shit about a raise.
Pay me what you think I'm worth.
Yeah. How about that? Like, as soon as I make twice my salary for you fucks, then I can just take off and do whatever the hell I want.
Exactly.
And they're like, no, you can't do that. Like, you guys are making a lot of money off me. I want to know that I made you the money you want from me, and then I can do whatever the fuck I want with my time,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And no, none of them were cool with it.
No, they wanted their way. It's that to be said too. Hey, they're allowed to have it their own way.
Yeah, I was the worst employee ever, though, Manny. Like, seriously, I was good if you were my customer, but I was bad if you were my boss. Like, I was not happy about the job ever.
Yeah,
like,
I'm good to you if you're good to me. I think that it goes a long way. If your boss can be like, listen to what you have to say and you do what he says, it's, kind of have a happy medium.
I agree, but you know what? It was in retrospect when I look back about me, I was the one causing the problems. Like, so I wasn't good to them, so they weren't good to me. Like, it really was more of that. And I think it was because I was always raised not to kiss ass. Like, you shouldn't kiss a guy's ass.
Oh, I agree with that 110%.
And so when I had a boss, I would almost be awful to him on purpose because just to show I wasn't there to kiss his ass. I was there to work hard and do a good job,
Yeah.
But I had a couple of them who got to know me enough that would tell me, he goes, Pete, you're not kissing my ass just by being decent to me. You can just be nice.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I'll try that. It would have been way smarter, but when I was young, I was an asshole, man. There's no question about it.
Yeah, nice to a point too. Like, you got to be nice, but you got to show you work hard. Like, if they can.
Yeah, what's good is a guy like you or I who believe that would recognize that quality in somebody, and they would value it.
Thanks for every day. Like I was manager before too, and I had like a crew of people that I took care of. Every day when somebody did something good, I always said, "Hey, thanks for doing that. Great job." But you don't get enough of that either these days. It's always just the person that's causing the problem. You're like always the
look at people looking for a scapegoat.
Oh, big time.
The people I work with, like, you would notice qualities in people that you would appreciate because they're things that you value in yourself, Like,
right.
You would, the qualities you value, you're going to look for those other things. If you're working in the banking industry, there's a lot of douchebags in there. So they value a lot of these ass-kissing, like, political climber bullshit things,
Yeah.
And you see the ass-kisser managers, cater to these ass kisser underlings because they're like, if I had to go all those years smooching assholes and I want to get mine licked now,
Yeah.
And then if the people that wouldn't play those games, you'd find some managers that you'd be like, oh, those guys are super cool, man. They're good at what they do. They work hard. These guys I respect, and they would look at the qualities differently in those people. Like they would like, for example, that ass kisser manager, he would look at me as a problem because I'm always questioning why things are the way they are. Whereas the other kind of manager that I respect would look at me as always trying to improve things. You know, he's thinking outside the box to try to make us all better. You know, like that's me and those managers got along. Me and the ones that were like, do what you're told, never got along because I couldn't do it. I couldn't be told.
But did the shit still always come from the top? Like, and then, you know, the general manager say the manager, oh, go tell Pete, hey, you know, Pete's doing this wrong. And then you tell him, he tells the next guy. It's like always kind of like some kind of
thing. Well, what happened mostly to me is that, but I would go to my direct report and say, this is what I want. Take my complaint and fucking run it up the pool, you know?
So, you know, Joe Blow wants an interest rate cut. You go tell this guy tell
Oh, no. I would have my own authority for that sort of thing. I'd be more like a policy change, like something that's like, we're like, this rule that we have is not helping our customers, right? I'll be like, this rule's not helping our customers. So you guys put this rule in place, but what you're not considering is that here in Norfolk County, we have unique crops and unique situations, and that rule that you're putting is a blanket rule that hurts our guys and helps your guys, right?
Well, we got to take this to corporate. We
can't
do it right here.
So then I'm like, well, if whatever we got to do, take it up the line because it doesn't work for us. It hurts our customers, you know?
Yeah.
And so the manager has an option at that point in time to either do it because he believes in what you're proposing, or save himself the efforts and just tell you no so that he doesn't have any work to do, right? And the people that don't like doing their job or don't agree, don't want to, they think maybe that's going to make them look bad. Or I've had guys take my ideas and say it's their own and watch them get congratulated for it too. Yeah, those are cocks, man. There was one manager I worked for was notorious for it, man. He would just like take all the glory of his staff and was like, you never did anything, dude. You just got a job at the right time.
You would never be the guy to go rat him either and say, hey, he didn't actually do that. That was me. But then nobody would believe you at that point anyway, because that's how far up the manager's asses those type of ass kissers are.
Yeah, it's all about status, you know.
Oh, yeah, big time.
I had my daughter got confirmed in the Catholic Church, and they bring in a bishop there, you know. So I'm at this confirmation, and the bishop's there, and you can see the priest. He's like completely kissing the bishop's ass, you know. It just made me like sick to my stomach. It's like, this guy's just got another job. You're just kissing your boss's ass. Like it's awful. I lost all respect for that priest. I'm like, I'm not going to go to that guy's church anymore. He's gross. You know?
Yeah, even the priests are kissing.
Yeah. It's all the same thing. No matter what industry you're in, there's people that you can find qualities that you appreciate, you know, that you like, and then there's people that you just don't like the way they do things.
What is higher, the bishop or the cardinal? The cardinal's
the highest. Yeah.
Is it? Oh, so then you think that bishop is kissing ass?
Cardinal's ass.
Really?
I think so. Did you see the two popes?
Yeah, I watched maybe 45 minutes of it up to, you know, a certain part, and it was a bit slow. It's a little bit slow for me.
It gets better. And I watched the whole thing. I liked it, but I did take a break halfway through it.
Yeah, it was long. It was kind of I was like, what's the point? When am I going to get to the point here?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
but the new pope looks really cool. The new pope's really cool. Looks really cool in it.
Definitely.
That old pope looks like a complete drip, but he was. Here he is. Is he still alive? Right? Yeah.
Benedict?
No, he's dead yet.
He's dead.
No, I don't think he is.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he is. I got to put him in the death pool.
I don't know. I have no clue.
I don't think he is, though.
They portrayed him so good in the movie. You know, some of the scenes they put in of like back in the day, some old video footage is like, I remember it. I remember seeing that live, that stuff. Like,
yeah.
Because like TV was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it's like it was been like 600 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I mean, I think we're living interesting times. But Manny, I wanted to get you. This is the point of what I wanted to do.
Cool.
What would you say versus young man Manny, who just started in the workforce, and now you have you at your middle-aged, we'll call you middle-aged Manny. Middle-aged Manny, you looking for a job now versus you looking for a job as a kid. What would you say, because this is what I'm getting at. When I was young, you know, like I would put up with a lot of shit because I thought it was my job, right? And then as I got older and I got more sure of my abilities to do my work or whatever, I would put up with a lot less shit because it was wasteful time to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then those customers or whatever, I knew I could do without them because I wasn't so hungry for business. I would be like, you are a pain in my ass. I don't care if I ever work with you again.
Right.
And you're a nice guy who I like spending time with. I would like to see your business do well. I'm going to keep you as my customer. I'm going to try to do everything I can to take care of you because you're nice to deal with, right?
Yeah.
And I started to really realize over time that I could do it anywhere, not only choose the job I wanted, but I could also choose the customers I wanted to deal with and just not deal with people who I didn't agree with and all that stuff. And then I'm able to kind of create my own environment of like whatever I want, and I don't tolerate nearly as much stuff now at 46 as I did when I was 26,
Yeah.
I tolerate like pretty much fuck all,
Yeah. If you don't want to deal with it, you just ignore it or just get away from it.
Yeah, I'd be like, no, I'm not doing it. How
Yeah,
about you
and
do
that's
this
it.
for me? I'm like, nope, I don't want to,
Yeah, exactly.
So like, do you think you feel that too?
Oh, that's so important. Doing something that you like not only would make you even appreciate whatever you get for it. It wouldn't be a matter of like how much money you get paid for that thing. As long as you like doing it, it just makes it so much easier, right? And that's kind of like what I'm on the quest for. It's not so important the money that I'll be making. It's more important to kind of have that kind of love for it, or like at least like to do it kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what when I decided that I wasn't ever going to retire.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I said retirement's not an option for me. I'm going to work till I'm dead because I just think it would always be nice to be busy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it'll keep you alive, right?
I'm the opposite. I think we should be retired now and work when we're 65. Like,
yeah, but that was the thing. I decided never to retire, and what happened was I was able to retire right away because I'm just going to live like this forever, so I'm retired now.
Yeah, that's the best.
And mindset-wise, I am retired, so like I'm still generating enough income, but enough income to sustain me, and I'm trying to line up jobs and like income sources that I can do when I'm like 90. Like you can always tell jokes when you're 90.
Yeah, the comedy never dies.
Yeah,
man. It lives till you forever.
I can do this. I can do a podcast when I'm 90.
Just talking, right? You're just talking to people.
I can still pimp the hose when I'm 90, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you see when the Pope slapped that girl?
No, I didn't see that. Get to that part. No.
Oh no, not in the movie. In real life.
No, I don't remember that. No.
He was down doing some Pope rally or whatever they do, and this lady in the crowd was real close to him. And she wanted to tell him something, and he was like shaking hands going past. And then when he was passing her, she lost her opportunity to talk to him. So she grabs his arm, and it started to hurt the Pope, you could tell. And the Pope just slaps her hand off of his arm, like she's gripping him. She slaps the lady, and you can see the lady like shocked, Yeah.
No,
and
you know what?
Pope caught some shit about that, eh?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he should. They should have been. You shouldn't be able to put your hands on anybody, no matter what who you are. Like, it doesn't matter. You put your hands on somebody, you better expect to get a slap back.
Especially when you're like a high level figure like that.
Yeah, I would think so.
That people would want to could want to harm.
Did he see who it was? Did he see who was doing it? It was clear as day. Okay,
clear as day. You could see the lady. It was like an Asian lady, and she was. But you know what I say? You got to keep your Pope hand strong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. You definitely do. You know that all too well.
Yeah. I love Francis, man. He's a good Pope. I like him the best so far. And because
I've never actually seen a bad Pope. Who was the last bad Pope there was?
Benedict.
You think so?
Terrible Pope.
Yeah.
He just wasn't very good.
Was it all like gets all caught up in the movie, some of the bad shit that happened?
Well, mostly, you know what he was, eh? Benedict was like a scholar. He learned he knew the rules of the church, He was an intellectual, So he would just learn the rules of the church, but he never really cared about the human message in the Bible. If you read it, like the whole thing about being Catholic is supposed to be reading the New Testament or whatever. You read it, Jesus doesn't like all those like technical rules. He's like, do the greater good, what's good for the people. And, I think the new guy, Francis, got the human component of those teachings where the other guy only got the literal translation of the teachings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is going to lose, you're going to lose everybody, He was very old school conservative, and the new guy's more like, we want this thing.
Get with the times.
Get with the times,
kind of thing. Yeah, I kind of got that part, a little bit. from the beginning of the movie, but I'll watch the end of it. I'll let you know what I think of it for sure.
I liked it, but it's no Jojo Rabbit.
I haven't seen that either. The Irishman would have been probably the last significant movie I've seen.
Did you like it? I haven't watched it yet.
Fantastic.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
I haven't watched
really
it because to me it's like the last one, eh?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I love the White Stripes so much I didn't want to listen to Icky Thump in its entirety for years because I always wanted there to be new White Stripes to listen to, right?
Nice.
And it's like this way with this one. I don't think they're going to get that cast together anymore to do a movie.
It would be tough to do what they did in that one. It was done so well, and yes, like Scorsese does it again. Like he kills it every time.
Yeah,
It was good.
It's like long though, eh?
It took me like 3 different like sittings to watch it. It was like 3.5 hours, probably really long.
Did you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I watched maybe up that. That's another one I kind of just tapered off of that one. It was really slow, and I'll catch it another time. I definitely want to watch the rest of it. Got to the part with Pacino complaining or something in a restaurant. They were finally meeting Pacino, who was like a Schwartz or something was his name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
I have to see a lot of those, but yeah, Inglourious Bastard was like that for me. I watched I watched it a few times, couldn't get into it, and then when I finally sat down and watched it, I'm like, this is a great movie. I don't know why I didn't love it the
Bear
first
Jew.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Brad Pitt when he used the Italian Gorlami. What's your name? He's a Gorlami. Oh shoot! Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many people have seen that one either, but yeah, when they burn up the Nazis and the frickin' that was just
great
fantastic,
story.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
so
just
many
the concept of being able to retell history just in any way you want to.
Yeah.
You're like, you could just murder Hitler in this one.
I was thinking about that movie the other day. The scene there. He meets up with Shoshana, and the first time he sees him again after he killed her family, the head Nazi guy, and they're eating the strudel.
Yeah.
The strudel, and he says no. He stops her and he's like, "Wait for the cream."
Yeah.
Wait for the cream. Oh, that part is just like, how the hell did that somebody like that go through that and
it's
have to
chilling.
sit with them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely done really well. Yeah, good movie.
Yeah,
You're coming up with a whole bunch of dingers. Those are great movies for sure.
Yeah. Well, and they're kind of like they're probably my two favorites between Tarantino and Scorsese. Like
Tarantino had one I seen recently. It was pretty off the wall. Oh, you know what?
Did you see the one? Did you see the Scorsese movie called? Oh shit! It was about had Jude Law in it, and then Borat was in it, and it was the kid's name or whatever. It was a kid's name, I think, and he made like a watch robot thing. Ben Kingsley was in it.
No, I never seen that. That's Scorsese.
Scorsese made
it,
and nobody fucking cared about it. But I thought it was a beautiful movie, and I can't remember the title of it. But anyways, someone else will help me with that probably. What the hell was it? It was the boy's name. Whatever. If you ever, I'll think of it afterwards and tell you.
If you have a chance to see.
But I thought it was a beautiful movie. Yeah, I can't remember the fucking name of it though. Ben Kingsley's a good actor too, man. Oh, yeah. But anyways, man, we got off schedule.
No problem.
Basically, I hope this rambling mess will help anyone that's struggling to find employment. Man,
yeah.
I think
I don't know what to do. I have no clue, and I did okay in some real estate. Like I had some real estate. I sold some stuff off at a good time. I thought it was going to be like at a, but the money doesn't last forever either. So you you definitely got to watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
I really have no recommendations because I have no idea what to do for myself at this point. But I'm applying to jobs. There's lots of work out there. You go on different websites and you can find something to do for sure.
Yeah. You know what you can do? You can probably pour like tomato sauce on your feet and film it, and then get some perv to pay you some money for that.
Yeah, 1 million hits.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
There's a lot of ways to make money now. I don't know how it works yet, Manny, either. I think it's going to be more and more confusing. And I think the young kids that are out there now, I think they have the same expectations as we do.
It's got to be tough.
So to be an employer is almost impossible. To be an employee is even worse.
But it is. It's got to be a nightmare, and you just got to pull it together. Kind of just keep your head above everything and just try to stay positive. There's going to be something out there for you. You just got to be able to risk, or not even a risk, but just not be afraid to kind of look for what you want to do, right?
Yeah, your situation's not going to change if
No,
you don't
definitely.
if you don't go through the pain of the uncertainty, you know.
Yeah, and then I think about starting the podcast that I was telling you about too earlier.
Yes, great way to end it. Great way to end it. We here at the I guess Spiky Ball Studios, or if it is the PNS network, I don't know what we're going with here. But the Live from the Dutch Hall has had one spinoff prior called Live from the Barbie Mansion. We are happy to announce the second one is in the works, ready to be produced. It is called
420 Minutes.
420 Minutes with host Manny Feijo and his co-host Anonymous Ed. It's going to be they're going to be recording it here at Spiky Ball in the podcast booth, and we're going to be happy to play it here on this platform. So you'll be able to hear some of the early episodes right on this channel. So if you're a subscriber of Live from the Dutch Hall, you're going to be able to hear 420 Minutes. Let us know what you think when it comes out, and then hopefully we can have another successful program right here on the platform of Live from the Dutch Hall. So Manny, any idea when the first one could be?
We could definitely be recording within the next couple weeks or so, and definitely have some ideas to throw out there. And
alrighty then. So guys, keep a lookout on our social medias. We are Live from the Dutch Hall on Facebook. We're also at Dutch Hall on Instagram and Twitter. And you can give us an email, livefromthedutchhall@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of our programs or what you would like to see in the new shows. We will be due to do another feedback episode. Another feedback episode soon. Until next week, we will see you next time. Thank you, Manny, for coming in.
Thanks, Pete.
And we will see you next time. Bye.